Hey, I'm here at the Electronics Fry in Burbank, which is well known for having a sort of kitschy sci-fi motif. And that's what today's episode is going to be all about. A kitschy science fiction movie. While this Fry's Electronics uses aesthetic from the 50s, oh, hi Gort. The movie that I'm going to talk about is from 1980, which is based on a 1940s serial based on a comic strip from the same era, but given a 60s aesthetic.
Strange object imaged in the Imperial vortex.
Remove the Earthwoman. Prepare her for our pleasure.
Don't kill him yet, Father. I want him.
Go, Flash, go!
I watched Flash Gordon in 1980 in theaters. You know what? I did it at the old Quad Theater, which was on West 13th Street. And at the time, I was living on East 13th Street and Avenue B, so it was just a short walk there. And happy memories. Now, I was 10, and I went in even though it was without a guardian, even though it was rated PG. Wow. Now, if you want to know why I'm saying, wow, this movie would never be rated PG these days. So the movie opens in a classic way. It opens on a star field with a rather fake-looking Earth moving up on us, and then Ming starts talking about how bored he is. And actually, wait a minute. Before we get into that, we have to talk about the reason that this movie is so popular. Possibly the main reason. And that's the music by Queen. I mean, what more can you say about the soundtrack? I don't know anyone who saw this movie who didn't run out and get the album by Queen. I learned about Queen from this movie, in fact. After getting the album, I went ahead and got News of the World because I heard it had some kick-ass songs on it. And I was hooked. Well, to be honest, it's kind of misleading to say that the soundtrack is by Queen. It's not. I mean, there are some songs that Queen sings, and they do a sort of the orchestration, and you can hear Freddie Mercury singing, but it wasn't composed by Queen. It was composed by band member Brian May. And wow, did he do a bang-up job. Now, I'm going to play this without any benefit of the visuals, because while the visuals are spectacular, I want you to concentrate on the audio. So, in this scene, Aura's taking Flash for a little pleasure cruise. But it also segues into the sense of flight and adventure. And at the same time, romance. finally, let's get to the movie itself. We first start out with Ming telling Clytus how pitiful the Earth is and destroying it would be so easy and so fun. We have a kick-ass title credits, and then we cut to our hero, Flash Gordon, watching the moon jizz its hot rocks on the Earth. No, nothing suspicious about that. So, one of the things you're going to learn is that, for the most part, our heroes are stupid. This is also where we get the classical meet-cute between Flash and Dale. And I mean, they fall in love very quickly.
My name's Flash.
I know.
I saw you at the hotel last night. I asked the maitre d' who you were. I couldn't believe a girl like you was alone.
You're just saying that to get my mind off this.
No, I mean it. What were you doing there alone?
Oh yeah, there's one thing I forgot to mention. You may notice that their voices sound kind of odd. That's because Sam J. Jones was dubbed. And no one knows who did the dubbing. So is Melody Anderson. For reasons unknown, maybe they didn't sound like square-jawed and romantic 40s type characters, but I've never heard Sam J. Jones speak, so unless he sounds like a squeak toy, I don't understand what the point is. The movie also subtly tells us that Flash is a famous quarterback for the New York Jets.
Well, I sure hope Flash Gordon had a great vacation. He's going to have to work hard to top last season.
Any problem, fellas?
Bit of clear air turbulence, nothing serious.
Nothing you'd want to toss a third down pass through either. Would you like to autograph this for my kid, Mr. Gordon?
Glad to.
Wow, I love those pilots. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a big role in this film. Then again, it's really not a good idea to fly during the apocalypse. And then Ming punches both pilots in the face. Well, those two pilots had it coming. I mean, they were Jets fans. And besides, they're used to the abuse. I mean, getting punched in the face by an intergalactic overlord? Nah. It's nothing like having to deal with a Giants fan in a parking lot. Same difference. Anyways, at this point, the film is sort of a kind of dull science fiction film, B-movie. Now, here's where we bring in the ham. Look familiar? That's right. It's a B movie from the 40s and 50s with a mad scientist. Of course, in this case, it is not Dr. Vornoff from Bride of the Monster, but Professor Zarkoff. And he is played by the first of many hands in this film, Topol.
Check the angular vector of the moon.
According to scientists at NASA, this morning's unprecedented solar eclipse is no cause for alarm.
What?
This morning's unprecedented solar eclipse is no cause for alarm.
NASA is saying that an unscheduled solar eclipse is nothing to be alarmed about? Really? Now, this is not ancient times when we didn't really know when a solar eclipse would happen. And even in medieval times, we knew that a schedule of the moon to know when a solar eclipse would happen. Solar eclipses are not some mystic occurrences. We know exactly when they're going to happen because of physics. Who's the head of NASA? A Donald Trump appointee? So, of course, Zarkoff comes up with his brilliant plan.
It's an attack. We'll go up and counterattack them.
Okay. You and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew are going to go up there and counterattack someone who's pushing the moon out of orbit. Zarkoff is an idiot. Of course, Bunsen has the right idea.
Bunsen! 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 Why are you running away?
Because you're fucking crazy! That's why! You're fucking nuts! Even if that ship does go up, what are you gonna do? Ask them nicely not to push the moon out of orbit? You already said that it's a hostile action. What are you gonna use? A pistol? And by the way, spoiler, that's exactly what he tries to do, and it fails miserably.
You're an idiot!
Meanwhile, Flash and Dale are trying to deal with a pilotless plane. Now, Flash says he knows how to fly a plane, but like Indiana Jones, apparently he never learned how to land one.
Dr. Zarkoff, listen! You're back!
Speaking of stupid, Flash and Dale aren't exactly acting like the brightest bulbs here either, because they totally don't notice Zarkoff's acting a little suspicious.
I expect you'd like to use my phone.
Thanks, I would.
Well, it's right in there.
Listen, we've wrecked your place. I'm sure the insurance will
Oh,
cover it.
please don't mention it.
Oh, what are you hiding behind your back? Oh, it couldn't be that important.
They kicked him out of Nassau. Dr. Zarkoff.
That came out of nowhere!
Are you crazy?
Yes!
The attack has begun.
Well, I guess I'll be running along now.
You lunatic!
I guess Flash thought throwing him at the big red button was a good idea. Flash is an idiot.
Sit down! Keep your foot on that red pedal or the G-forces will kill us all!
Okay. You might think I'm down on this movie. I'm really not. Actually, I love it. The thing is, this is a B movie, and it has to do a lot of contrivances to get its characters out into space. So one of the funniest things is that Zarkoff built a rocket with chemical propulsion, not knowing there's a wormhole up there that's going to take him to Mongo. But he doesn't know that. For all he knows, it's aliens from another galaxy, or even just another solar system, which he intends to get there by chemical propulsion. He's also smart enough to know that the G-forces will be lethal to anybody inside the ship. So somehow he contrived that there's a big red pedal that you hold down that will somehow cancel the inertia. You gotta love this film. And fortunately, we're getting out of here because I'm going to tell you something. All the scenes on Earth are dry and dull, only entertaining by the stupidity of the characters. We need to get to Mongo because that's where all the ham lies. Ooh, I know what that music means. Break out the doobies. And again, I have to point out how great the score by Brian May is here. I mean, the music from Queen overshadows everything in the film, but the music by Brian May is just spectacular. I must admit, this is starting to remind me of another movie. Can you guess which one? Okay, do you see it? This is basically an update of Barbarella. What? You don't see it? Flash Gordon and Barbarella had the same producer, Dino De Laurentiis, and it seems like Mike Hodge wanted to copy the style of Roger Vadim. And you can see it with the same kind of Art Deco and, lava lamp visual effects, and of course the emphasis on really strong pop music to carry it along.
A beggar is sorrow, the devil is hate. A dream is tomorrow, a fool cannot wait. An artist is beauty that rises above to look in the eyes of an angel. An angel is love.
Barbarella isn't the only film that Flash Gordon homages. I mean, it homages it because it's basically the same producer, and they were literally going for the same aesthetic. But there is another film that Flash Gordon likes to homage, a much more popular film. For instance,
We're on the ground.
Back home?
I don't think so.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
okay, I know what you're saying. That's a bit of a stretch, but that's only a stretch if it's the only example. There are other examples through the film later. As a matter of fact, you know what? I actually think Munson was the Cowardly Lion, even though the Cowardly Lion didn't die when he fled.
Hello. We're from Earth. Friends.
Here, take my hand! I think someone told Ming he should arm his troops with handguns, and he totally got the wrong idea.
Flash, whoever they are, it's clear they are highly developed. I'm sure we can reason with them.
You're an idiot!
So next our heroes are escorted by the unholy offspring of C-3PO and R2-D2.
Hold, lizard man. Escape is impossible. Surrender.
What the hell? He didn't get a chance to surrender. Oh, he was a Jets fan, and being a Jets fan on Mongo gets you the death penalty. So Flash, you better not tell him that you're a quarterback for the Jets.
If it fails, I've still got a gun in my pocket.
You're an idiot!
So now we move to one of the more famous parts of the film, the court scene. And here we're introduced to many of the major players of the film. We've already been introduced to Flash, Dale, and Zarkoff, but we're also going to meet Baron and Vultan and Klytus, and of course everybody's favorite, Ming the Merciless, played to a grinning satisfaction by Max von Sydow. Although he may have loved doing the role, he did not love wearing 50 pounds worth of costume during this and other scenes. But what an entrance. One thing to note is that Ming was originally the Yellow Peril, an offensive Asian stereotype. I mean, his name is Ming, for crying out loud. But here, they take that away because he's played by Max von Sydow with his heavy Swedish accent. And rather than seem like a whitewashing, it seems more like a reimagination of the character. And because Max von Sydow plays it with such gusto, you kind of forget that it was originally intended as an offensive stereotype, with the Fu Manchu mustache and the clothes, you know, because here he is just Ming the Merciless. And Ming is just another name like Mongo or Baron or Vultan.
The fabled ice jewel of Phrygia. We seized it in battle from the royal crypt. Stop! The ice jewel is our tribute, not Vultan's. Vultan stole it while we were burying our dead on Phrygia. Liar! You are a thief!
Okay. One thing to note about Timothy Dalton's performance is that while everybody else is hamming it up and treating this like a B movie, he's playing it absolutely straight and serious. And that's because, from what I hear, Max von Sydow told him that he should do it as if it's Shakespeare. Because when he ascends to the throne, they'd have to believe he's actually a leader. So it's amusing to see that while everybody is just having this B-movie time, he's playing this as if it's Julius Caesar.
No one, but no one, dies in the palace without a command from the Emperor.
That's a great line, but I'm going to say one thing. Does Clytus look like anybody you might know? I mean, there is a certain familiarity that, it's probably a coincidence. Actually, it's kind of funny, because if you think about Flash Gordon's history, Dino De Laurentiis won a bidding war against another filmmaker to get the rights to bring Flash Gordon to film. That other filmmaker was George Lucas, who decided if he couldn't get the Flash Gordon license, he'd create his own science fiction film, which basically homages the old serials. And, it actually did well. Who knows what would have happened if George Lucas had actually gotten the Flash Gordon license that he so desperately wanted. I mean, would it have been as popular without original characters and something called the Force? I mean, or if it had been popular, would we eventually seen a fourth film with Jar Jar Binks? Who knows?
We, the people of Ardentia, we have suffered since you blasted our kingdom. I can offer you nothing this year except my loyalty.
Prince Thun, we prize nothing more highly.
That's Prince Thun? Really? Because in the comics, he looked like this. In the serial, he looked like this. For the cartoon, they would go the full lion route, and he'd look like this. And for this film, they went with George Harris. Now, I have no problem with casting an African-American in this role. I mean, it is a major character in the Flash Gordon universe. But what they do in this film is problematic.
How great is this loyalty to your Emperor?
Without measure.
We are delighted to hear it. Fall on your sword.
May this deed of Prince Thun be an example to all the kingdoms of Mongo! Death to Ming!
You can see why this scene is kind of problematic. Let's leave aside the fact that you're taking a major Flash Gordon universe character and just unceremoniously getting rid of him. But the fact that you cast an African American dressed in tribal clothing with a tribal theme, murdered 1 minute after being introduced by a Nordic leader, that is just uncomfortable. And here's the thing, I'm all for non-traditional casting. But you know what? I would have preferred to see George Harris playing, say, Prince Baron, or Voltan, or even Zarkoff. Even though it's a German name, why not? But to introduce a major character, have him cast with an African-American actor, then get rid of him, and that's the last African-American to have a speaking part in this film. Yeah. They turned Prince Thun into a token character.
This Ming's a psycho.
This Ming is a psycho.
Hey, no one likes a tattletale. Clytus may be a ripoff of Darth Vader, but you know what? I know where George Lucas got his idea for Leia's slave costume.
Come along, Fellini. Hey, remember me?
We've known each other for 28 minutes. We're going steady.
Who are you?
Flash Gordon,
Quarterback, New York Jets.
Damn it, Flash, I told you not to tell them.
We are only interested in friendship. Why do you attack us?
Why not?
Now you know why everybody loves Ming the Merciless. I mean, he cuts to the point. You know? I mean, if I wish Captain Kirk were here to try to do one of his Kirk speeches, he'd probably shut him down right away. So, I know you'd probably kill me if I didn't give probably the most famous lines from this entire film. Here it is.
Pathetic earthlings, hurling your bodies out into the void without the slightest inkling of who or what is out here. If you had known anything about the true nature of the universe, anything at all, you would have hidden from it in terror.
You may remember at the beginning of this video, I talked about how shocked I was that I, a 10-year-old, was able to see this film as a PG film. Now, granted, that means parental guidance, but I went alone. But I'm going to tell you something. This film would have never gotten a PG rating in this day and age. And aside from what you've already seen, try this for size.
Come closer. No, not you. You. Let us see you.
Dale!
Don't.
You know, for kids.
Did you ever see such response?
No, truly. She even rivals your daughter.
You know, for kids.
An older man dominating a woman by giving her an orgasm against her will. Where have I seen this before?
Susie, my dear. Sonata for Executioner and various young women.
Oh. It's sort of nice, isn't it?
Yes, it is nice. In the beginning. When we reach the crescendo, you will die. Pleasure. Your end will be swift but sweet. Very sweet.
And in both cases, the older man is shocked at the prowess of the younger woman to handle what they can give them. Of course, in Duran Duran's case, he's frustrated, while Ming is obviously pleased. So there's a running theme here in Dino De Laurentiis films, I think.
What happened to me?
I don't know, but it was pretty sensational.
Flash, you perv!
Forget it, Ming! Dale's with me!
We've been together for 30 minutes. We're engaged. So, now we get to the best scene of the film. A scene that is so corny and outright stupid, it leaps around to being awesome. I mean, you can watch this scene a million times, and you'll never get over how completely idiotic it is. And the fact that it's so idiotic makes it the best scene in the entire film.
Stay back!
Don't flash, they'll kill you!
Ow! Man, the putties don't play fair.
Yeah!
Flash, you're not a running back, you're a quarterback.
Are your men on the right pills? Maybe you should execute their traitor.
Yes, you heard it right. Intergalactic steroids. Meanwhile, Vultan's having a grand old time. Now, it goes from pretty cheesy to maximum cheese when they stop acting like it's sort of football and literally start playing football, complete with Dale idiotically cheerleading.
41! 42! Go 43!
Go, Flash, go! Go, Flash, go!
He really does have all the skills of a Jets quarterback.
You're an idiot!
Don't kill him yet, Father. I want him. Give him to me.
Deliver the scientist to General Clytus for conditioning by the Imperial Secret Police. This one here has defied us before our subjects. We order him disposed of tonight by public execution.
Yes, it is a tragedy when the love of your life for the past 35 minutes is ordered executed by the local intergalactic overlord. Ain't it just the way? Anyway, in his jail cell, Flash demands that Clytus let him see Dale for one last time, leading to this reference.
You have until the sands run out.
You see that? That's how much longer you've got to be alive. And it isn't long, my pretty.
We actually have a tender scene between them just before he's to be killed.
You look great. No kidding. You look great.
It's the eye makeup. I hope I remember the trick when I wake up.
I'll be darned. That's exactly what I was going to tell you.
What?
This isn't happening, Dale. We're not here. It's just a bad dream.
Oh, I agree completely. Why, we'll wake up any minute in Dark Harbor and have a laugh about all this.
Yeah. Only next time I won't just ask the maitre d' your name. I'll walk over and talk to you.
You promise?
I promise. Cross my heart and hope to... I really will talk to you, Dale.
We move on to the execution of Flash, and there's this exchange between Aura and Ming that I just love, which shows just how infighting and bickering has driven out all emotion from Mongo.
Look. Water is leaking from her eyes.
Oh.
It's what they call tears. It's a sign of their weakness.
This will help you on your way.
Oh yeah, it's going to help him on his way. To the ceiling, if you get what I mean. Here's my point. There's been a lot of sex in this movie and a lot of rock and roll in this movie. There's one thing left out. And if you think that's a stretch on my part, tell me if this doesn't remind you of anything. Especially the music. Flash! Don't bogart it all to yourself! No, really, that's what this feels like. Feels like a cliffhanger, you know, the end of the first episode. But, considering who wrote the film, Lorenzo Semple Jr., he's more famous for doing this. guy who developed Batman, the 1960s series, also did this. Now, that's not to say he can't do, harder-edged work. He did 3 Days of the Condor and Papillon. But on the other hand, he also did Sheena and Never Say Never Again, and also Never Too Young to Die. Never heard of that one? Well, it has this.
Lads, can't you see the greatness in me? I'm female and male, man and woman. I'm better than you are! You see, you can do nasty things, and they don't come back to you.
And yes, that was John Stamos killing a villainous hermaphrodite played by Gene Simmons. Ah, the 80s. Say what you want about Ming, he may be a murderous despot, but he respects the Flash Gordon branding and made sure that his logo was on his coffin. Now, as you might have already guessed, Aura bartered sex with the Doctor so that he would inject something into Flash to keep him alive during his execution, so that she could have hot fun times with the blonde stud in tiny leather pants for a while.
Where am I?
Back from the dead. I've saved you.
My God! How?
By magic, of course. With a kiss, because I like you.
Where's Dale and Zarkoff?
Don't worry about them. They're safe now. Quickly, put his uniform on before the lizard men arrive to bury you. Don't worry, I won't look. I like you a lot.
As Flash and Aura escape, they come upon Zarkoff being trapped in a brainwashing device. And you just gotta love the way Ming cruelly taunts him.
Every 1,000 years, I test each life system in the universe. I visit it with mysteries, earthquakes, unpredicted eclipses, strange craters in the wilderness. If these are taken as natural, I judge that system ignorant and harmless. I spare it. But if the hand of Ming is recognized in these events, I judge that system dangerous to us. I call upon the great god, Daizan, and for his greater glory and our mutual pleasure, I destroy it utterly.
You're saying it's my fault Earth is being destroyed?
Precisely, Doctor.
So then they empty his mind by, I don't know, reversing film on his life, I guess?
It is not surprising.
Now he showed promise.
Meanwhile, Aura's giving Flash some really hands-on driving instruction.
Now take a left turn over Phrygia, the next moon rising. Every moon of Mongo is a kingdom. My father keeps them fighting each other constantly. It's a really brilliant strategy.
You know, for kids.
Meanwhile, Dale is being put through absolute hell.
Drink this.
What is it?
It has no name.
Will it make me forget?
No. But it will make you not mind remembering.
Wow. This isn't bad at all.
It's at this point that Flash managed to contact her and let her know that he's still alive. So she decides she wants to flee and try and rejoin with him. So she gets the serving girl drunk and swaps places with her, leading to this amusing scene with Ming.
you.
Ming, what's the problem here? She's cute. I mean, if you can't be with the one you love, then at least love the one you're with. Meanwhile, Dale's turned into Wonder Woman. Okay, where to begin? One, I think Emperor Palpatine would be better off not using Gamorreans for his personal honor guard. And two, why isn't the movie about her? Why isn't the movie revolving around Dale Arden, since what has Flash done so far? Played football, which is his normal job.
There's soldiers everywhere. What'll we do?
Let me think a moment.
Unseal the city. Allow her to exit with Agent Zarkoff.
I think I can find a safe way out.
Are you sure?
No questions, dear. Just follow me.
Now, as Dale and Agent Zarkoff leave to find Flash, Flash finds himself in Arborea, which is Baron's planet. Although technically it's a half a planet, somehow, like a bowl with trees in the middle. Don't ask how Mongo works. It defies physics. Anyway, a lot of this movie is dealt with female sexuality. Now we'll have a little bit of male sexuality. And see what Freud would think of this. Okay. Hey, Aura, what do you think?
I love initiations.
I am now of age, Greenfather. I ask for the test of manhood.
And my test of manhood involves me sticking my arm way up inside a hole as far as possible, surrounded by men.
Choose your passage into this world or the next.
You chose poorly. Send me on my way. Spare me the madness.
I will. Hold him.
Call me culturally insensitive, but having your kids do Russian roulette when they hit puberty doesn't sound like a very good idea.
I brought you a present. Flash?
Hello. Welcome back from the grave.
Naturally, Baron doesn't take too well to having two roosters in the hen house.
I knew you were up to something, though I confess I hadn't thought of necrophilia. Take him, along with the rest of the hanging meat.
No, Baron. I forbid it.
Does anyone ever trust her twice?
So we cut to Dale and Zarkoff escaping the Imperial City, and we find out that brainwashing thing that Zarkoff had didn't quite take. And this is my favorite speech from the entire film. I mean, it is so full of joy and humanity from a guy who's basically been a load until this point. It's just fun to listen to.
So that's why they let us escape. Kaleidosonic wiped out your memory.
But do you know why it really failed?
I can't imagine.
As I was going under, I started to recite Shakespeare, the Talmud, the formulas of Einstein, anything I could remember, even a song from the Beatles. It armored me, girl. They couldn't wipe those things away. You can't beat the human spirit.
Ah!